Hello everyone, it's CJ Wiley again with some adventures on the road back in the days when the road players roamed the country and the gambling was everywhere, plentiful, especially in cities like Detroit. There was a gentleman up there, Rosenbaum, that lost over $15 million, and there were other players up there that were gambling in the hundreds of thousands, and I got a little taste of that, but I hung around the pool room, the rack, where it was all going on for a couple weeks, and one of the colorful characters there was a guy named Cornbread Red. Cornbread Red, he was an older man at the time, you know. I mean, looking back, he wasn't that old, but he still played really good, and I used to pester him to play 9-ball, and he wouldn't play me 9-ball. He wanted to play one pocket, and I didn't play one pocket that well at the time. And so anyway, it was a standstill. So we just kind of became friends, and I got a kick out of him. He always had a smile on his face and a big wad of chewing tobacco in his mouth, and he'd laugh and spit and cut up. And one of the things that I used to give him, make fun of him really about was his slip stroke. And when I say make fun, it was definitely making fun, because this slip stroke was one of the most powerful strokes I've ever seen in pool. If you don't know what a slip stroke is, it's when you hold the cue up near the front of the wrap, and then as you're drawing the cue back, you draw your hand back almost to the back of the cue, and then go through it. And it's a motion that generates an incredible amount of power. See, back then the cloth was slower, and you had to have a little bit better stroke, and Cornbread could just rip that cue ball, and it used to always impress me. I just used to like watching him play. Played one pocket really good, played on a snooker table really well. They played one pocket on a snooker table for thousands a game, and it was something to be seen. And guys like Bugs was there, and Grady Matthews, and all kinds of colorful characters. But Cornbread told me one night, one of the funniest stories I've heard. He said he went into this bar and he was supposed to play this tush hog. A tush hog is usually a big, tough guy, that's intimidating. So he was told to go in there and play this guy. So he goes in the bar, he looks around, he identifies the guy, and just marches right up to him. The big tush hog's at the bar drinking a beer. Cornbread marches up to him, taps him on the shoulder, and says, "Hey, buddy, what's your best game?" And the guy, I guess, had a bad day or something. He turned around, he said, "Fighting's my best game," and just hauled off and smacked Cornbread, knocked him clear across the room, up against the wall, and Cornbread just like slid down the wall, almost completely knocked out. So Cornbread said he shook it off. He's seeing stars, and got back up, looked back over there at that guy, marched right back up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and he says, "Hey, buddy, what's your second best game?" And the guy turned around, and he was like, "Pool's my second best game." Anyway, Cornbread said he matched up with him and beat him out of a few hundred, and ended up shaking the guy's hand and buying him a few beers, and left with the money. And that's what the real road players could do. I mean, they could leave with the money and make you like them. And if you like this story, I've got plenty more, but I also learned a lot about the fundamentals, techniques, and systems of pool, and it enabled me to become an ESPN world champion and player of the year. And I give most of that credit, to my early mentors that were road players. And now I'm sharing that information. I've got a membership site. It's a private membership site. If you want to join, it's at www.masteringpocketbilliards.com. And it's less than $10 a month. You can get out at any time, and I'm going to add a lot of new material monthly. I'm going to have guest appearances and do question and answer series, on a certain night, especially consistently. I'm setting all this stuff up, but there's over 7.5 hours of instructional material now. I just uploaded 7 new videos, and there's a lot more to come. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, I'll see you next time.